there was nothing about that I expected. Not that I really expected anything, because again, I don't remember if I've heard much of these guys. It sounds so familiar, Blade of Thorns. And again, I know I follow him on Instagram. That's how I ended up with this song for the first song tonight to begin with. But the first thing obviously stands out. Well, the guitar stood out at first, as it opens with guitar. And I'll get into the guitar stuff in a minute. But the first thing that stood out the most is how unique his voice is, and not the octave, the depth. It's actually, I mean, he's pretty deep, but I mean, you've heard plenty of stuff a lot, two, one or two octaves lower than it. There's a grit in it, and even interestingly, a kind of a twang. It's like a twang, like a dirty twang, in a real deep, rich voice. That it makes it very, it's very memorable. Because I think you'd be hard pressed to find something else that sounds like that in his voice. I'm sure there's singers out there, there's somebody out there that sings and sounds similar, but I think you'd have a real hard time finding somebody else that sounds the way this guy sounds. And to me, it's very pleasant. I enjoy it. I think it's very, very unique. I'm not sure how to classify kind of the genre of the song outside of just a big umbrella of rock, and I like that too. When I heard the initial guitar and the intro, I kind of thought I had an idea where the song was going, and then it went a completely different way. And the guitar especially, I didn't expect a lot of what I was seeing and hearing with that. Again, I didn't have an expectation, but it was pleasantly surprising, some of the things that I saw and heard. There's a lot of very interesting, I'm not going to bore you and kind of break down like every detail of it, but this guitar player is very, very interesting. There's a lot of stuff I was hearing that I could hear the influence, almost like I kind of recognize where the style of his play and the sounds, even kind of the stuff that he was doing. And I can't place it, but I know it's there. It's one of those things, like I know there's something that probably influences him in the guitar world, because I can almost hear where it's coming from, but I just can't quite pinpoint exactly the artist or the musician that I'm kind of thinking of. And one of the cool things that I did like about that too, there was nothing over the top with the guitar. The guy had very interesting style and different techniques that he kind of employed in different parts of the song. That again are things that are somehow familiar to me, but just can't exactly place who I'm thinking of with it. You know who one of the guitar players is that I'm thinking of? I cannot remember his name, but the original guitar player outside of Chris Cornell himself, from Soundgarden, the original Soundgarden. I can't remember his name, but he did a lot of interesting stuff with like really weird tunings. Soundgarden in general did, but I think a lot of it stemmed from his guitar work. And he'd actually they have songs where his guitar is actually tuned as like different instruments. Like it's tuned as a sitar, which is a kind of Middle Eastern stringed instrument, and sometimes like Far Eastern like stringed instruments. They would emulate the tunings and use them for the guitar, and then play grunge music over it. Now, he wasn't really using any different tunings. It did look like he was maybe his E was dropped down. Maybe he was playing in drop D or something, because I felt like he was doing kind of open, just cross the neck fingerings on that stuff. So, but then he was doing stuff down in the rest of the strings that he was obviously not in a weird tuning or anything. So, but it gave me those kind of vibes of that guitar. There's somebody else. There's some early Tool also. If you listen to anything from Tool, like early, I'm talking early, they have like a demo record, and then there's like their first real album, Opiate, which a lot of people aren't familiar with. Again, I can't remember the guitar player's name. But he had a lot of similar things that I kind of felt that maybe were an influence on this guy from Blade of Thorns. Anyway, it's refreshing to see that. I think sometimes with guitar, especially with guitar players and musicians and communities of guitar players, musicians, and artists and stuff, you get this heavy influence sometimes on these real technical things with the guitar, and people shredding, and it is impressive and it's fun and it's cool. But I feel like my taste in music is way more well-rounded than that, and something like a rock song that doesn't have a guitar solo or doesn't have any real crazy technical playing, I still can find just as enjoyable. I mean, I listen to punk, and most punk is literally 3 chords, not ironically or hyperbolically, but literally 3 chords. So it's not always about that, but I did like his playing though. Is an interesting. Is kind of like hearing something I haven't heard in a long time. It almost, even though this song is like basically brand new, and obviously it has the vibe of a new song, but there was something about the guitar that kind of gave me a nostalgic feeling with that playing. What? Read the chat. What? Lead singer to start. What? Studying it. I'm living.